Hello everyone, welcome back Hotel Mammon video lecture. Myself Arvind Chauhan, Assistant Professor, BBD University Lucknow. I am here to deliver a lecture on the food and beverage service. So let's start. Hello, namaskar everyone. I'm here to discussing your second unit of all the traditional spirits. So in this unit, we will learn about the what are the traditional spirits, and in this video, we are going to talking about uh, introduction of traditional spirits. All right. So let's begin with the introduction of the traditional spirits, historical background. The history of human consumption of alcohol is closely related to history of the world societies. In terms of invention, manufacture, trade, and religion, here are the few of the stories which come out of the history of alcoholic beverages of the past. Right. While nobody knows when beverage alcohol was first used, it was presumably the result of fusion accidents that occur at least 10,000 years ago. Over 10,000 years ago, the primitive people probably discover alcohol much as they did fire, as a gift of nature plus curiosity. It has been documented that early cave dwellers drank the juices, the mass berries that have been exposed to airborne yeast. When people found that the juice produced pleasant feeling and the reduced discomfort, they began to intentionally produce the alcoholic drink. All right. In almost every part of the world, different civilization had different some type of alcoholic beverages. Right. The Arab developers a method of produced distilled beverages, and the Romans produced distilled beverages. Although no written reference has been found period of 100 AD, but a reference to distillate appear in the writing of Greek philosopher Aristotle. Further, liqueur production was reported in Britain before the Roman conquest. However, production of distilled spirit in Western Europe was limited until the 18th century, after contact with the Arabs. Alright, and other than the spirits such as whiskey, rum, gin, vodka, brandy, tequila that are commonly found in most bars, that are number of other spirits that are unique and popular in the local areas. All right, so all the traditional spirits are very much popular in other religion, other country, other states. Maybe it's not available in the every hotel's bar. All right, they may found in sales and some depending on the drinking habit of the consumers. Okay, the most important developing regarding alcoholic through the Middle Age was probably that distillation interestingly considerable disagreement exists concerning who discovered distillation and when the discovery was made. Although some suggest that it was the Chinese who discovered distillation, other believes it was the Italian and some name the Greek, while most assert that it was a Arabian. Right? It might be noted parenthetically that alcohol or alcohol is Arabic in name. That a spirit could be distilled from fermented matter was undoubtedly independently discovered, possibly by accident. In many parts of the world, Amaldus and Villanova, a professor of medicine, is credited with coining the term aqua vet, were called the distilled liqueur, aqua vet, and the name of the remarkably suitable since it really a water of immortality, impo- immortality. It prolong life, clear away ill humors, revise the heart, and maintain youth. These were modest claims compared to those made much later by the 15th century's German physician. Hieronymus Brucine. At, the, at that time, it was called aquavit, water of life, but was later known as brandy. The later term was derived from the Dutch brandewijn, meaning burnt wine or the distilled wine. Most sources state that an unknown Dutch trader invented brandy in 16th century by boiling wine to remove the water as way to save cargo space. A few sources credit the Chinese brandy distilled from grapes or other fruits such as apple or apricot. There seems to be fairly general agreement that knowledge of fermentation is so elementary and so widely diffused throughout human society that it must have been discovered to a very early date and probably in many different places. Even so, definite evidence is hard to come by. It is generally believed that the art of distillation was known to the Greek of Alexandria before the opening of the Christian era and later used by the Arab for obtaining essential oil, but that the distillation of alcohol only developed in Western Europe from the 12th century AD. All right, and after this, the historian theory is that humankind founded for beer and other alcoholic beverages was a factor in our revolution away from the society of nomadic hunter and gathering into the agrarian society. The first production human made from grain and water before learning to make bread was a beer, right? Apparently, beer was the first alcoholic beverages known to civilization. However, who drink who drank the first beer is unknown. Beer is the one of the world's oldest and most widely consumed alcoholic beverages and the third most popular drink overall after water and tea. Beer, the world's oldest beverages possibly dating back to the 16th millennium BC, is produced by the brewing and fermentation of the starch mainly derived from the cereal most commonly malted barley. Although wheat, maize, corn, and rice are also used for making beer. In fact, beer arrived with the first colonists, which considered essential their well-being. Beer was the major beverages among the Babylonians and early as to 2700 BC. The Babylonians worshipped a wine goddess as early 200, 2700 BC. The ancient Greek had a god of wine, Dionys. The Romans and Bacchus and the Egyptians worshipped Orisis, one of their god who represented wine. The Egyptians also believed that Orisis, this important god of wine, was worshipped throughout the entire country, also invented beer, a beverage that was considered a necessary of life. It was brewed in a home on an everyday basis. Okay, here you can see the difference in earlier what they are doing at that time. One of the most common drink throughout history was wine. There was a number of myths and stories about the first wine. According to Greek, it was invented by the Dionysus and spread eastward to Persis and India. In the Persian legend, wine was discovered by the concubine of legendary king Jamshid, who suffered from splitting headache and accidentally drank from jar with spoiled food and fell into the deep sleep and awoke cured and felt refreshed. Afterward, the king ordered his grapes stock to be used to make wine while spreading around the world. Winemaking is believed to have begun in a Neolithic period from about 9,500 to 6,000 BC, when communities settled in year-round settlement and began intensely crushing and fermenting grapes and tending a grapes crop year-round. This believed to have first occurred in Transco- Transcaucasus, eastern Turkey, and northwestern Iran. Around the same time, the Chinese were making wine with rice and local plant food. The earliest evidence of winemaking has been found in China. Tries the mixed fermentation drink made with the rice, honey, and fermented fruits, either grapes dated of 7000 BC, near the village of Jihu in Henan, province northern China. In Greek, one of the first alcoholic beverages to gain widespread popularity was named mead, a fermented drink made from honey and water. However, by 1700 BC, wine making was found in common places, and during the next thousands years, wine drinking consumed the same function around the world, and it was incorporated into religious rituals. It became important item in hospitality as well. It was used for medicinal purposes, and it became an integral part of daily meal. So this is the how people come to the daily life. A beverage that clearly made its debut during the 17th century was sparkling champagne. The credit for the development goes primarily to Dom Perignon, the wine master and French abbé. French monk who were the first to bottle the sparkling from the wine is called champagne. Named after the Champagne region of France, the origin of whiskey are lost in history too, but by the 16th century it was being distilled in Scotland and was popular drink. The original grain spirit whiskey appear to have first been distilled in Ireland. While its specific origin are unknown, there is evidence that in 16th century it was widely consumed in some part of Scotland. During the 17th century, that Francisco Salinas, professor of medicine of University of Leiden, distilled spirit from grain. Okay, the resulting beverage was known as juniper, the Dutch word for juniper. The French changed the name of Genevere, which the English changed to Geneva, the modified to gin. Originally used for medicinal purposes, the use of gin as a social drink did not grow rapidly at first. However, in 1619, England passed an act for encouraging of distillation of brandy and spirit from corn, and within a year the annual production of distilled spirit, most of which was gin, reached nearly 1 million gallons. The Russians preferred their grapes spirit without the juniper flavor and choose to name it vodka or little water. Rum is another alcoholic beverage distilled from fermented sugarcane. Christopher Columbus was pioneer in discovery of rum. After the rum, uh, just a moment. There are the different type of alcohol. The focus here we will alcoholic that consume ethanol and ethyl alcohol. In short, ethanol is the waste product of yeast. Yeast is a living agent, one cell and unicellular fungus. Various strains of the yeast are present anywhere, including salt, water, and soil as well on flowers and the plant leaf. Diverse type of alcoholic beverages include commercial, licit, non-commercial, illicit, homebred, and sometimes adulterated alcoholic beverages that vary by state and era. Significantly, most international, the natural process of decomposing of origin material containing carbohydrate liquor production involved in starch distillation, which reduce the original water content and greatly increase the alcoholic strength. A growing body of research, however, documents significant varying in ethanol content of commonly consumed alcohol beverages in developing countries, whereas beer average 2 to 8% of alcohol content and wine average of 8 to 14%. Distilled spirit range of 30 to 35%. Okay, you have learned the brandy and rum, vodka, liqueur. It is a sweet flavored alcohol seasoned with house fruits, nuts, spices, flour, cream, etc. Some people believe liqueur and cordial is one and the same things, but that's not the case. Cordial are especially concocted with fruit juices and used for medicinal purpose. For liqueur, on the other hand, spirit like rum, whiskey, and brandy are used as base. The type of liqueur are chocolate liqueur, coffee liqueur, cream liqueur, fruit liqueur, berry liqueur, flower liqueur, and herbal liqueur. All right. Important liqueur means many important Scotch whiskey, malt whiskey, tequila, distilled spirit made from the blue variety of magu plant. Cognac is the best known type brandy in the world, coming from the Cognac region, which is located in the west central Atlantic coast of France. Irish whiskey, bourbon, rye whiskey, corn whiskey, Canadian whiskey, brandy, gin, rum, vodka, and liqueur, which are mainly bottled in original and imported liqueur bottled in India. India made foreign liqueur. India made foreign liqueur, often abbreviated IMFL, is the term to denote Western style hard liqueurs such as whiskey, brandy, rum, gin, vodka. See, these are you will get each and every hotels and every shop, but other traditional spirit is rarely found. You will not get anywhere, right? Wine you have learned, okay. Important wine, imported wine, Indian made wines, okay. Imported liquor, snaps, anise, and bitters are terms that cover a wide variety of type of spirits, which they all share in common in that they have flavor. Spirit liqueur, also known as cordials, are sweet flavor infused spirit that are categorized according to the flavor agent, fruit, nut, herbs, species, blends, cream, such. The word liqueur comes from the Latin liqueferus, to dissolve and refer to dissolving the flavoring of spirit. Imported beer, barley, water, hops, yeast, brewing combine their four simple ingredients to make a beer. Okay, country liqueur. This is the important. Indian made liqueur is distilled alcoholic beverages made from locally available cheap raw materials such as rectified spirit is known as the other spirits. Other spirits all depend on the various customs and traditions for particular region, particular state. All right. So this is one of the country liqueur you can see here, which is Indian made Indian liqueur is distilled alcoholic beverages made from locally available cheap raw materials such as rectified spirit, rice, cheap grain, mahua, flour, and cashew with alcohol content of around 40%. Okay, amount very variety of country liqueur are arraigned. Desi Sarab, Spice Country Liqueur, Sura, Tari, toddy from palm, coconut tree, and Handia, and Adivasi and Tibat drink in Orissa. And most popular among the poorer section of pollution is Feni, which is made by the cashew nut Feni and also made by the coconut Feni. There is two type of Feni, which is an alcohol distilled from the fermented juice of apple of the kaju tree and is made with the particular pot is still through a series of distillation, but distilling the cashew nut apple into liqueur called feni is cleared a gone contribution to the wealth of liqueur. Spiced spirit means flavored country spirit in which the flavor agent are either added during the course of distillation or reduction. These flavoring agents or essence essence are generally selected from among the aniseed like cardamom, coriander, ginger, orange, mundi, neem, peppermint, mango, jasmine, khaskhas. pineapple, rose, banana, pomegranate. So these are the flavors generally eaten during the reduction or the distillation. So this is the your about the spirit, other spirit introduction. Let's look this. This is the homemade alcoholic beverages. Homemade alcoholic beverages and distillation of alcoholic beverages for self-consumption are also common in several tribal area in the country, especially in the east and north east region in the country. Homemade production, self-consumption also common in a part of India and 45% inhabitant report including their liquor and home personal consumption. Okay, here you have seen there is a word is like the made arak is again a traditional spirit. There is a various word is come by various ingredients is coming like the cashew nut, coconut, like toddy palm, coconut tree, mahua, handi. So these are the like you get the different things in a different state. Like the feni is popular in Goa. So the Goan feni is very popular, which is made by the cashew nut feni and the coconut feni, right? Similarly, the toddy and famous somewhere else. Okay, handia is famous somewhere else. So this is the like the country liqueur. Similarly, we will also learn about other kind of spirit which is from the other state or the other country, right? Okay, just look at well, let's see the current scenario. Alcoholic beverages have been a part of social life of millennia. Yet societies have always found it difficult to understand or restrain their use. In the transformation period, as the reproduction of bodily work, the consumption of relation embed, embedded into the contextual practices of social drink, which can be classified into the four archetypes: maintaining human relationship, expressing faithfulness, outpouring sincerity, and achieving exchange. Consumption is one of the keys way people interact and connect with each other. Consumption are activities that are used to construct social identity or maintain social relation can be collected, labeled social consumption. Most people overestimate the level of alcohol consumption in our society, right? Okay, I'm looking for your app sheet. So this is the very good example of app sheet here. You can see introduction of the app sheet. They currently you wave beverage app sheet, a mostly green colored sprawl drink of distinct bitter taste is recently experiencing a revival after nearly 70 years of prohibition. It has found a way of distribution throughout the internet. A wide variety of also found in retail trade. Or another, you can I'm just sharing another one. Okay, so just it is an example of brief guide of the app sheet. Okay, what is it? See, you can name for Artemisia absithium, grand wormwood, grand wormwood, natural alcohol infused with herbs, especially wormwood, anise, and fennel. Similar to gin in manufacturer, especially as there are two main methods of making. Just I like to tell you, absinthe was invented by Dr. Pierre Ordinaire, a French physician pharmacist in the 18th centuries for medical purposes. It is a legal alcohol and flavored with wormwood. All right, Artemisia absinthium, and it has an alcohol range of 50 to 75% ABV, alcohol by alcohol. Traditionally, it is a green in color, but colorless variety is also available. It was of the most preferred drink during the late 19th century and popularity grew steadily during the time. However, the beginning of the 20th centuries, the combination of wormwood and high alcohol began to considered very harmful to mental health. Absinthe has began to be considered very harmful. Absinthe have project as a dangerously addic- addictive psychotic drugs. Right? Okay, just you can see here there's two methods we were discussing. Cold compound maceration of botanical in natural spirit or addition of flavoring in nautical spirit. The cheaper way of making absinthe and gin is generally inferior to traditionally made spirit. Second is number two, distilled absinthe maceration followed by redis- redistillation and optional further maceration that produce green coloring. Example, but etc. But the ingredients in some natural spirit for a bit ready still this liquid then optionally add tea bag or further ingredients to give more flavor and a color. Without the post distillation maceration, you get a clear balanced absinthe with you get a green wort absinthe. Cold compound absinthe usually use green for food coloring. Okay. High alcohol content due to a historical use as a diluted medicine. To maintain a stable coloration, a chlorophyll fade from green to brown over time below about 68%. This is why many old bottle of acid from before then banned have gone fuels mort dead leaf brown. The alcohol has evaporated through the bottle seal, dropped at ABV 68%, and following the chlorophyll to denature. The flavor is usually still pretty good and color is quite beautiful. Here you can see the tree. Wormwood used for various medicinal purposes since Egyptian times. Modern spirit from late 17th. One story of creation is that it was formulated by Dr. Fair Ordinary. It is invented by an intelligent doctor in say 1972, 1792 as medicine. Maybe from the recipe created by Henriade sister of Poet, West Switzerland. Another story is that Ordinary created the recipe and sold it to Henriade sister. Okay. First documented fact is the sale of recipe to Major Daniel Henry Dewey and opened the first absinthe distillery in Pontellier, France in 1797. Dewey Fairfield's Dewey partner were his son Marcelin and his son-in-law Henry Louis Pernod. Okay. The company expanded to the second distillery due to the popularity and changed their name to Mason Pernod Files. The foundation of drink gained is still known today popularity through the 19th century grew because Algerian campaign 1830-1847 soldiers were canteen thus with absinthe to guard against various illness. When the soldier come home, they had a taste for it. It's adopted by the Bohemian movement over the country. Phylloxera, that is a graced crop. This is the disease, right? The downfall absent conspiracy theory. Temperature movement were surprisingly backed by the wine and brand producing to help bring down the domains of absinthe industry as the grape harvest become viable again. They, they had lost market share and leaded it back, and anyways it's not as if wine and brandy were really seen as drinking in early 20th century France. A lot of propaganda about the evils and absinthe drinking were published by the various anti-alcohol groups, eating away at the spirit popularity. Right? This is the equipment how they obviously the preparation. This is the absinthe glass. Some devices were more elaborate, including the balance here. I was these common misconceptions. See the absinthe is the burning liquor. It is not a traditional to burn it. There may have been tradition of burning absinthe in the past, but none in the industry seem to know of any. When absinthe was reintroduced, reintroduced in 1990s, they needed a signature serve flaming cocktail were all the range, so they jumped on the brown wagon. The burning of sugar before throwing it into a absinthe will create caramel flavor, which may complement the drink. However, traditionally absinthe doesn't generally benefit. It also leads to burning your eyebrows. Alright, thank you so much.